With about 2 days and 6 hours left in 2025, let's talk about some of the biggest headlines that could shape politics in 2026. My panel is here now. And guys, look, there was a lot that happened this year. We're going into a midterm year going forward. But Yumisi, I want to start with you. New York City mayor was probably the biggest political story of 2025. What's your expectations? What's the Democratic Party's expectations for Zoran Mamdani once he takes office?
Well, the expectation is that he'll do well as the mayor of New York City. I mean, the best part about having watched his campaign to now transitioning to governance is that he's been able to come middle of the road with some things. We've watched him work really well with Governor Kathy Hochul, who's going to be running her own race at that same time, and is going to be watching him closely because a lot of how well he does will predicate on how well she can do and what things she can uplift that he's doing well in the city. And so it's to see if a lot of the policies that he's been pushing forward actually do take hold and float in New York City, but also to remind people that politics is local. Just because he's pushed something in New York City doesn't mean he can do the same in my hometown of Marietta, Georgia.
Do you think that he's become such a national figure, which I don't necessarily think was his goal when he came out, but he became such a national figure throughout the course of the year that it's possible that people will actually understand, no, this is a New York City thing. This isn't a national politics thing.
You know, I think Mamdani's been interesting because I actually don't know that was his goal to become a national figure. I think he just wanted to topple the establishment, which he was very successful at doing. And now comes the hard work of legislating, promising people that you will make good on those very same promises. How does that happen? I don't quite know because a lot of it felt like bluster. I'm not sure if that's the exact word. I think there's inexperience, and then there's also a sense of fear in him. That's what I see in recent weeks, ever since he, made this great disruption. I just see him calming down at times, and then I see him kind of getting faster. And that's typical of politicians that break the mold. I've worked with dozens of them that don't really quite know how they're going to meet the moment. And the first month is going to be so pivotal because he's going to have to counteract really the narrative that Republicans are going to throw every day of the week, right? Look at New York. It's a terrible place. And now you've got this immigrant who isn't even American out here leading you all. When everybody knows this was just really an anti-establishment vote is how he got there.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to watch. I want to get both your takes on something that was very troubling throughout the course of the year, which is the rise of political violence. You had several high-profile examples. You had the 2 Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota who were shot and killed. You had the assassination of Charlie Kirk. You had the Josh Shapiro, the arson at his governor's mansion, and his family survived that arson attacks. Here's what Utah Governor Cox told CNN about President Trump's leadership in all of this. Take a listen.
I have to say, during the Charlie Kirk shooting, in the conversations we had, he talked to me about nonviolence and trying to be a voice for that. I understand he's not interested in uniting the country, and he would tell you that, I think, if he were sitting here with us tonight. But I would also say that it's not going to be a president who fixes this. It's not going to be 2 governors who fix this. It really has to be all of us.
Do you agree with the assessment that the president can't fix this? He couldn't make it better if he wanted to.
Why should the president try to fix it? It's already out there. When you see the assassinations like we have in real time coming through our phones, there's no turning back time. I mean, Trump has taken us to a place where political violence is normalized. It's normal to say your enemies were X, Y, and Z, to even to be distasteful about them in death, to insult them in death. That is Trump. But let's put Trump aside for a moment. A Utah leader like Spencer Cox, who I've watched for many years, is the kind of political leader we need for the moment. And I can say that from the center right, we've celebrated Cox for a long time. We know that his pragmatism, we know that the way in which he carries himself in public office, which by the way, he's done all throughout the ranks, that is what we need as a party to turn back the effect of Trump. I think it's wrong of us to continue to fixate on Trump's every move every day. We know he's not the person we expect a leader to be, and therefore let's divert our attention. Let's look back at the states and look at what kind of new leaders are coming about. In the Republican Party, we see a lot of young, fresh faces. These faces, in Gen Z especially, are moving forward in life, having seen Charlie Kirk killed in cold blood in front of them, a bullet in that man's body. That is going to forever change that generation of young conservatives.
Yeah. What do you think from the Democratic side?
Well, from the Democratic side, I think that we have to look at how a lot of young people are gaining their news. And a lot of that is happening on YouTube and in these platforms. I mean, we're looking at Republicans platforming people like Nick Fuentes, but Nick Fuentes is speaking to a group of disgruntled young people that are coming up in America that doesn't have an economy that supports them. And so I think that Democrats are really going to have to refocus on how they message to young people and how we move past this kind of political violence and this increased inflamed rhetoric.
Yeah, I think that in particular is a conversation we could have for hours. Luckily, I'm going to have you guys back next hour so we can continue this conversation. Thank you guys very much. More